All right, got a bigger crew today. Good to see everybody. Yeah, short week. So this is a little funky operation here. I'm not sure which press conference this is. Is this the Wednesday press conference or is this the post-game press conference? But yeah, I'm really. We haven't. The guys have had yesterday off. We started late today. Try to get some more sleep, some more recovery. We'll go slower today and then really ramp up and kick it into gear tomorrow. So looking forward to the next few days and taking the next step.
Is it a walkthrough today?
Yeah. Yep.
You didn't have this obviously in Baltimore, the travel distance, time change. What have you learned about that already?
I'm not used to it yet. Yeah, I think it's going to be a process over the next X amount of time. Talking through guys, getting feedback. There's going to be we'll keep making tweaks until we feel like we've came to the right recipe. So that's where we're at right now. I think we're doing a lot of good things. We've gotten a lot of good feedback from the guys. I think as the year goes on, I think the next one's Atlanta. We'll kind of cross that bridge when we come to it. But there's a lot of good things we're doing, and we'll make a couple tweaks and hopefully feel like we're kind of getting closer to the sweet spot.
Have you changed anything noteworthy you can share that is tangible change?
We tried to get there a little earlier. We had some. We had a little flight delay on Saturday, so we weren't able to get. We're trying to do it, but just things work out where you can't get it done. So we might alter our leave time, try to get there a little earlier.
With the San Francisco game coming up Thursday and then this game in quick succession, are you game planning for both at the same time, or how are you approaching that?
No, we're 150,000% on the Giants right now, and then when the game ends, we'll be 150,000% on the Niners. I'm sure, a lot of our younger coaches, once this week starts to wind down, they'll be working ahead. But all of our focus is on the Giants until the game's over.
Mike, what's the process for you in kind of figuring out how much workload the guys can handle with coming off and having a short week this week and having a short week next week?
Well, I mean, the good news is they don't change the game times throughout the year, so we've been able to factor this into our processes. Sam Rams has been great, bouncing ideas off of. We track all the player tracking and everything. Again, there's no secret recipe on it. It's a lot of it. It's a feel for where the guys are at too, and what they need and what the team needs. Any given day, we're just trying to do what's best for the guys. We felt like this is a good cadence. How we operated last week, going into this week, and then our short week schedule for next week. So,
first time for you guys coming off the loss. What do you want to see from players in terms of how they respond?
I think that every day's approach is going to be the same expectation. We're trying to improve. We're trying to take the next step. Let's look at what happened through an impartial eye, so we can attack the problems and let's move forward. Let's keep it positive, man. There's a lot of good stuff on tape. A lot of stuff we obviously need to fix and make right. So, but that's the case anytime we step foot out there and toe the line. So that'll be the same mentality.
You guys are averaging like 39 passes a game, but it doesn't feel like a one-dimensional offense. What do you like about the way that offense has been called so far?
Yeah, we're not shooting for a number of passes or whatever going into each game. I think it's just what it takes to be successful. Trying to put our guys in best positions. I think Geno's operating the offense at a really high level where we're getting in and out of certain plays. That'll dictate some run or pass in certain situations. But I think the guys are confident. I think there's a lot of great execution out there. You've seen the O-line start to come together. So we're moving in the right direction. And we'll see. I'm not really worried about the pass play numbers right now. But, yeah, you're right. It just doesn't feel that many. I mean, the way this game played out, turned into a drop-back fest, which it needed to be, for us to have a chance to win the game. So some games kind of dictate those terms.
When you went back and looked at the film, just what did you see defensively, I guess, in particular? What did you feel like?
It's never as good as never as bad, but it was pretty consistent what I reported right after the game. There's just some uncharacteristic mistakes that we weren't expecting. And then Detroit did a great job with their plan and their execution too, so you don't want to take anything away from them. But I think it's just an overall hey, it's a one play at a time mindset. How focused can we be? Can we have the obnoxious communication that we're chasing, so we can avoid some of those mistakes? And then let's finish plays. I can call a better game. I mean, it's kind of everybody. It's I think it's kind of this whole to it, where on the whole, just wasn't close to the standard or good enough to win the game.
What about with Ken, when you went back and watched, what did you like about what he gave you?
I can't wait to show some of the clips of the team. You talk about a guy that's just an incredible competitive spirit and just the will to get the extra. I mean, the one play on the sideline was incredible, but this guy's playing at a really high. I mean, he's just how hard he plays on a down in, down out basis. Unfortunately, witnessed it firsthand at Michigan State, so this is nothing new on his front.
What did you see from the reason for all the yak that Detroit had on offense?
Well, I think it's there's not one reason, Mike. It's a couple. I mean, there's sometimes when we forced them into the flat and we weren't in position to make the tackle, which we've been in positions in the first few games where we've been able to vice it and eliminate those yards. So obviously the one that Montgomery missed the tackle and then we missed some angles. So we need to get that corrected. And then when you're open down the field and there's nobody in the post, there's going to be a lot of yak too. So I think there's a few things going on there.
Last time you had your defense give up 40-plus points was back against Miami.
Yep.
You've talked about some of the lessons you learned there. What did you do to correct things then, and which of those might apply now?
Well, I think it's two totally independent. It just so happens it's the same amount of points. I think that's probably the only thing in common. But it's the same mentality of, hey, let's look at how we're doing things. How can we make just how can we get incrementally better in all the processes, coaches, how we organize things, how we walk through players, how we take meetings, how we communicate in meetings. Just how can we take incremental steps throughout the week, to put ourselves in position mentally so we can go out and play our best football. And then in game, how we're communicating as coaches, how we adjust, all those things. I mean, all those things are on the table. We've talked about them. Unfortunately, this is creating an opportunity for us to to really face those things head on, and that's what we're going to do.
Mike,
Did
in
you
your
learn about your
defense,
right guard rotation?
I don't think there's any conclusion with it right now. I think both guys played a good game. I think the offensive line probably played their best game of the season so far. So we haven't talked about specific snap counts this week, but I'd anticipate something similar moving forward in the near future.
sorry, Mike, in your defense, how do you get proficient in covering second-level routes? You talked about it on Monday. What are the keys to that?
Well, it all starts with your eyes. You got to be looking at the right stuff. You got to be underneath defenders need to be able to diagnose when it's run or pass, and then get to their spots. And then the deep area of the field defenders need to know when they need to attach to those routes. So any in-breaking route should be viced by a deep area defender and an underneath defender. So you should never be, sold out, so to speak, unless you're in man-to-man. So that's an area we need to improve on those second-level in cuts.
The 70-yarder across the middle, was that an alignment at the snap to shoot?
It was just a mental error, and we didn't have a post player.
When you went back and looked at the film, what did you think of the pass rush?
Well, there weren't a lot of opportunities to rush. I mean, this is an old adage, and it's cliche as heck, but it's true. You have to earn the right to rush the passer, and if you're not in situations where you're forcing them to throw the ball, then you're going to have a hard time rushing the quarterback. So we knew it was going to be a conversion type rush game off some of the actions that they had, and so we didn't do a good enough job doing it, but it just wasn't as many opportunities we were trying to create.
Mike, what is Jason Peters for you guys?
A little bit of everything. So I've never worked with him before. Today will be his first day, so looking forward to seeing what he brings to the team.
Are you looking at him as just specifically a tackle, or are you thinking he could play inside as well?
Yeah, I really did mean like a little bit of everything. I mean, he's kind of leadership role, versatility, scheme versatility, good guy to have around, all the above.
Any of the guys that are on top have a chance to come off this week at all? Or any of them?
Right now, we're anticipating Cam Young to start to open up his window. probably today. Things could change between now and then, but that's what we're expecting.
How's Julian Love doing?
I think he's doing okay. I haven't talked to him in the last X amount of hours or so, but I think he's all right.
Just to clarify, Mike, when you said things could change, does that apply to either Lucas or Reed, or are they definitely not going to start practicing this week?
Those guys, I believe, won't start practicing this week. Yeah, in case there's a hailstorm or something and we need to, not practice. I don't know. Trying to always leave it out, so you guys don't get me in the corner.
We saw Chenna get back a little bit last week. Is he able to jump back into practice with you this week? Are you expecting that?
Yeah, he'll be out there. And again, with all those guys, it's a process of, can we get them to the line? Are they feel comfortable? Is it best for them to go? I know all of them are chomping at the bit to get out there, but we're going to do what's best for them and what's best for us. So that'll come. Today's a walk, so it's hard to gain some a bunch of insight on where they're going to be after today. Tomorrow we'll probably have a better idea.
Mike, there haven't been any takeaways, turnovers since week 1.
Yep.
Anything that you've seen there that's leading to that?
Everyone's got their theories on it, but it's you can't go 3 games with no takeaways and 2 games in a row and losing the takeaway battle and expect to have success. So that's definitely a point of emphasis with us. But you can't. You got to do it You got to do it the right way. The ball comes alive when you play the right way on defense. You can't sacrifice tackles for the ball. So all those things are important to stress, but I think it's more important that we focus on playing the right way and attacking the ball when those opportunities come alive, and then I think you might see some of those numbers start to jump.
Moving forward, what can you take away from the way these guys fought? It was an early haul, but you guys turned it into a shootout and just were there. It wasn't over until it was over, right? What can you take away from that kind of scrappiness towards the end there?
Yeah, our guys could easily gave up on really all 3 phases, and they didn't. You can see it in their eyes, and I think it's a shout out to the men we have in our locker room and the resilience they have. And I told them after the game, that's the mentality and the spirit that we want on our football team that we're going to need over the long haul. Again, we're 4 weeks in here. This is going to be a long season. We're going to face more adversity at some point, and if we have that mentality, that gives us a chance to push through in those times. So definitely something that to be proud of. Silver lining coming out of the game.
Do you expect Boy, Leonard, or Byron to be in the walkthrough today?
Byron won't. The other 2 will be.
You described some of the issues on defense, like uncharacteristic, particularly with some of the mistakes, communication stuff. Does it feel like maybe the Detroit game was perhaps an outlier, some of the communication stuff, or even the...
I certainly hope so. Look, it's a... You start attributing things to trends, and it's just a dangerous place to go. To me, the easiest way to go about it, and really the best practice is, hey, we're recency bias. We're going off of what we just saw. Let's make sure that we're all on the same page on what we need to do to get it fixed. I really do believe it's a play in, play out focus of understanding what's expected and getting it done, and keeping it kind of in your cylinder. We talk about 12 as 1, and that's important, but that comes to life if you do your one and then some. The one has to come first. You can't do the and then some until you do your one, if that makes sense. So the guys will see it. It's very obvious. It's not good by any stretch of the word, but it is fixable, and that's what today's for. But we got to move on quickly because game's coming up quick.
Mike, the one internal then outward. How important was that for you to set that early when you got here? Because obviously you just don't bring it now. When you got here to set that as a base of how this team operates.
What are you talking about?
You're talking about players have to look internally, stay in the cylinder in terms of changing and getting better. So how important was that for you to set that early on when you got here?
Yeah, it's incredibly important. I think as a coach, you have to be. You're in it too. We're not. I have a huge area of responsibility, and I think if the players see that you're in it with them, and it's easier to kind of mirror that behavior. So, hope that's what we're doing as coaches. I know we are, and we got the right guys. They're going to go attack this thing, and we're going to move on.
How do you think Kayvon and Kobe played in the second half without Jordan on
I think, yeah, you talk to those guys. There's area for improvement, without going on all the specifics and stuff. But again, whoever steps in there's plenty of reps to go around. I mean, the expectation is we're going to play the right way, our style of football, and get the job done. And I think you can speak for anybody that was on the field on Monday night. We didn't do that.
You came out.
Not having Leonard and Byron, obviously a big deal. I guess how did you feel like when you looked at that group?
I thought those guys stepped up and played pretty well in the interior D-line. I thought Miles Adams had, considering all things, I thought he played pretty well. We asked Draymond to move inside, and he fought his tail off. And Hankins and Jay Reed, those guys are battling, man. So, all things considered, I thought they stepped up.
You made a point in the radio show this week to take responsibility yourself for some of the struggles on defense, and you also seem sometimes to not want to give credit to a player or a coach, but kind of keep it together. Some coaches point at a player or call a player out. Where's your philosophy been developed on how to take responsibility versus call accountability out?
I don't know where it starts. I just think that's the way to do it. Look, whatever shows up on tape is my responsibility. At the end of the day, I'm responsible for what goes on out there, and our guys are fighting their tails off to go do it. No player is ever going to show up and want to do it the wrong way. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be productive. Everybody wants to have success. The secret sauce is when you can get it when you can get it playing together, and they're playing for one another, and they're excited for everybody else's success. I think that's what we're building, and that's what we're trying to create. And I think I have to do my part to make that happen.
Anything else? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.